Ah, hit the go live button and start choking. Anyway, here we are again on Tuesday. Like I said, just kind of an average Tuesday. Nothing much going on this week. So I'm going to show you a few things here that I got cleaned up. Some kind of interesting stuff, but nothing too overly earth shattering. I'll scroll back here and say hi to the folks who are here. Got Cynthia Wesley. Rocket Caver, Billy Lee, good to see you guys. Jim 44, Chris Alverson, Darla Allred, howdy howdy. Buzz Fork, good to see you. Ronald Coward. Let's see here. Let's see. You guys all same guys. Mary, nice to see you. Said hi to Ronald. Chris McGee, good evening to you too, sir. Randy Duffy, Rocket Caver. Like I said, Rocket Caver already. William Hurt. There we go, just about caught up again. Yeah, whoop, not quite. Pat Z, Rick Green, howdy. Cast Iron Chaos. If you don't mind, you just uploaded a short video about the Griswold trademarks. Cool. Yeah, there's been quite a few pretty steady progression over the years of the Griswold and Erie trademarks. So yeah, if I get a chance, I'll have to watch that. I've been working night shift, so I end up missing out on just about all of the streams I normally would watch. Kind of hard to keep up on them a lot of times, but I try and get them when I can. But yeah, I'd like to see something on the Griswold trademarks. Your block logo favorite Pequot Ware Yankee Bowl seems to have been plated. Is that common? I don't know if favorite did a lot of plated stuff. I don't know about Yankee Bowls. I have a Wagner Scotch Bowl that was plated. I've seen a few other ones that are plated, but I don't recall seeing favorite being a lot of plated stuff. Pretty much everybody did at one time or another. At least a few things they had plated, but yeah, it doesn't come right to mind. I don't remember ever coming across anything like that. But anyhow, got a few things cleaned up, and one of them I recently acquired. The other ones I had for a while, just finally got around to throw them in the lye bath. One of them is this little number 5 ugly hammered skillet. That one cleaned up real nice. That's pretty much ready to go. That one's got 4 punch marks on the back of the handle. And you can see the number 5 on the handle is just kind of randomly put on wherever they had a spot for it. Something I noticed about the ugly hammered, it's like they use the same handle on every pan. They look right on number 3s. The 5s, they look a little out of proportion. And when you get to the number 8s, they look weird. I mean, they look kind of stubby. This is a little bit different shape than the other one, but I actually held them up together, and they are damn near the same size. The one on the number 8 is just a little bit longer, but on the number 8, it looks way out of proportion to the pan, because most other number 8 skillets, get these here set together, the handle is a good inch longer than on the ugly hammered skillets. Just kind of a weird little thing about them. This is the one I showed you guys last week. That one's got 3 punch marks on the back of it. But yeah, the ugly hammered, they're nice pans. I mean, they're heavy. They're nice cookers. People really like them. And they've gotten quite a bit of a following lately, especially the chicken fryers and the Dutch ovens. If you get one of those with a lid, they pretty typically sell around $200 for a 175 to $200 for a Dutch oven or a chicken fryer with a lid. and they're ugly hammered. I mean, they look pretty much, they got the same battered looking hammering pattern on them. But yeah, like I said, people like those, and I will be able to get that little number 5 seasoned up here pretty soon. This one here is another hammered pan. I'm not quite sure. I think it might be a known unknown with that shape of handle. The handle is pretty similar to a lot of Chicago hardware, but that's not the hammering pattern that Chicago hardware used, and it's unmarked. There's no marks of any kind on the back. This one, unfortunately, which side was it, is cracked. Not sure if you can see it. There, you can see a little bit of it. It's cracked down the side there by the spout. And that's going to be tough to fix because I like to try and blend the repair in as best I can with the rest of the skillet. That's going to be tough with that hammering on there. But I'll give it a shot and we'll see what comes of it. Yes, the cat has settled down. About every 5 minutes she cycles through either being dead asleep or being running wild. Didn't you say the hammered patterns had different names, or am I making that up in their head? I don't think I said that. There are different patterns, but I don't know if they really have specific names to them. The like Griswold and Lodge tend to have a real fine, small dimples on them. The Chicago hardware, they're real regular rows of nice hexagonal shaped dimples, and the Wagner ware have kind of a leopard print, animal print kind of pattern to them. But I don't know if there's any specific names to it other than the ugly hammered ones, which are just ugly hammered. But anyway, yeah, that'll be a little tough to fix. I mean, as far as the actual welding goes, but just try to get it blended in so that it more or less matches and isn't quite so obvious where I welded it. And that one's got to go back into the lye bath anyway for a bit. It'll be a little while before I get around to doing some more welding. I got a pile of them over there to work on yet. And once I get some of them fixed up, I'm going to start giving some of them away. But anyway, this one here is one that I've been looking for a while, or at least looking for one at a decent price. Finally got an Iron Age skillet, number 8 Iron Age. Nice little skillet. And this one at least is patterned after a Lodge. They're really similar. The Iron Age has 4 notches in the heat ring. But other than that, they're very similar. I mean, the handles are, gotta get these in an angle where you can see them. The handles are pretty close to identical. But the Iron Age is a little bit smaller. Get these back the other way around. The Iron Age is noticeably smaller than the Lodge is. And that's usually a sign that they used a finished skillet as a pattern and made just use the finished skillets as a pattern, because when you pour molten iron, it shrinks. Pretty much, I think it's 1/10 of an inch per foot. So if you use a finished skillet for a pattern, the skillet you make from that is going to be a little bit smaller than the pattern was. And makers, they understand that, and they generally make their patterns a little bit oversized so that when the iron cools and shrinks, they get the size they want. The Wampus kitty. No word back yet on that fake Griswold rabbit. Yeah, it'd be kind of neat to have. I mean, I'd like to get some fake stuff just for the sake of having it. And yeah, as long as you know it's fake and you're not paying a genuine price for them, because the rabbits pretty regularly go for either side of 150. If they're trying to charge you that, then no, it's definitely not worth it. Oh, who made Iron Age? That was made by the Foster Stove Company. They made Iron Age and the Foster line skillets. They were in Ironton, Ohio, I think it was. Ohio, yeah, Ohio. Ironton, Ohio. And they were the Foster Stove Company. And they made the Foster line skillets and the Iron Age skillets. Maybe that's why the lodge is that awkward 10 1/4. They started as 10 1/2. Maybe, but they were probably planning on 10 1/2 and or 10 1/4. It made it like 10 3/8 or whatever size you'd have to get it to work out right. No, don't be chewing on me, you silly cat. Did I turn my keyboard off? Because that'll be the next. Hey. You're going to get yourself launched to come for it. Down. Vicious little beast. Anyhow, I live in Ohio, known for the potteries and foundries. Yeah, there's quite a few of them. Happy birthday. Yes, that reminds me of all the people who wished me happy birthday on the Facebook group. Thank you very much. It's really nice to get happy birthday wishes. But anyhow, beyond that, I don't really have a whole lot going on this week. Next week we're going to do look at some aluminum, especially Magnolite, and see if the prices have come down any on it. For a while there, they're just going nuts. I mean, pretty much any oval roaster was going for 200 or more, and the big ones were getting up around 300 for some of them. And even things like saucepans and skillets, which were normally, giveaway prices. You get them for $2 or $3, maybe $5 a piece. All of a sudden, they were selling for $50. So we'll see if those came down any next week. But we'll see them next week. Like I said, tonight I don't really have a whole lot planned. Didn't have a whole lot of time to work on anything this week beyond work. So I'm gonna have to just kind of make this up as we go along. Need to cook for you again? Yeah, it's gonna be kind of cooled off a little bit here for the next couple of weeks, I think. So it ain't gonna be too bad for cooking. So I'll come up with something here. Probably the week after next, I'll do something. A couple of things I wanted to try, but right now I can't remember what they are. I usually manage to get a nap before the show because I work nights, so I work till 7 o'clock in the morning, even though I'm off tonight. You end up working 7 hours on the day you're off. But normally I can get a halfway decent nap during the day and not be entirely strung out when I'm doing the show. But today I didn't, so everyone's waiting for the warmer weather to head out treasure hunting. Yeah, usually, stuff in the, finding stuff in secondhand stores, antique shops. You don't start seeing a whole lot of it again until, April, May, and there sometime because, that's when people finally get around to cleaning out grandma's house and donating the stuff they're going to donate or selling the stuff they're going to sell. And the, thrift sales, yard sales, that sort of thing starts taking off once it gets to be late spring. So, this time of year from, January up until into April, usually kind of dead. You don't see a whole lot of stuff out there. Find a few things once in a while, but you don't generally see nearly as much or as many this time of year. Dying of thirst too. But anyway, let me see here. Don't worry, no raffle today. Pretty soon I'm going to be giving some stuff away. I'm going to weld up. I've got my next one on my list. I have a number 6 Wagner that has a crack in it. I was going to weld that up and give it away. That'll probably be in the next 2 or 3 weeks. Probably more like 3. And I've been sanding on that big number 14 aluminum recast that I got. Well, once I got it cleaned up, I could see there were no marks on it or nobody's name on it, and it's pretty clearly a metal shop project type of thing. So I got it all rough sanded, got it all smoothed out. Now it's just a matter of going through the steps of the finer grades and getting it polished up. Looks pretty good already, but I still got a fair bit of sanding to do on it. Maybe have it done by the next show, maybe not. We'll see. If I do, I'll show it to you. If I don't, I won't. But yeah, once I get that number 6 fixed up, I'll give that away. Get some of these repairs out in the wild and get people using them and see how they hold up, just to make sure it's, make sure that they're going to survive good. Cynthia has almost perfect attendance. Pretty much, yeah. She's almost always here. Cynthia wants a Wagner chef skillet. Yeah, I finally got one. Got a couple of chef skillet actually. I got that Levco Japanese chef skillet. That's really nice. I finally seasoned it, but I haven't got around to using it yet. I got a real nice Victor number 8, thin, light, smooth surface. Forgot about her, missed the vinegar for probably 3 months, pulled out and it crumbled. Yeah, vinegar will eat things away if you leave it in there too long. Passed on an aluminum Wagner logo number 8 spinner for $5 last fall. Who knew what it would be worth now? There doesn't seem to be as much interest in the in just the Wagner, the stylized logo, or even some of the older stuff, the ARC logo things. It's just the marked Magnalite, which is kind of odd because the older Wagner aluminum's a lot more scarce than the Magnalite. The Magnalite came out in the late 30s, early 40s, but most of it was made after World War II, and a lot of the aluminum ware that was made before ended up going into scrap drives. So there's a lot lower survival rate for the pre-war Wagner ware stuff, but for some reason it's not selling for nearly as much as the Magnalite. I mean, the Magnalite's really nice stuff though, but yeah, it hasn't really caught on for some reason. Maybe it will once people get their fill of Magnalite and start looking to expand their horizons a little bit. But both Wagner and Griswold have made aluminum ware, pretty much from the start to both companies. From the from the 1890s on, pretty much they made aluminum. So there's a fair bit of stuff out there. I did get 8 pan seasoned today, a number 7 Vollrath, number Erie. The Erie's a sweet little pan, lightweight and the right size. Yeah, they are real light. I mean, that's one of the big parts of the demand for them, besides being, Erie, made by Griswold, and being real old. They're wonderful little pans. I mean, they're paper thin, real light. They cook real nice too. So, that's one of the reasons that really drives the price behind them, is there a lot of demand for them. Hard to figure out why Goodwill auctions go so high for bad pictures and dirty skillet versus eBay with clean skillet and better pictures. Yeah, kind of hard to say sometimes with any kind of auction what something will go for. And there's not a lot of rhyme or reason to it. I mean, I've seen just about identical pans go for hugely different prices, listed on the same auction the same day. It's kind of weird. I mean, eBay, there's a lot of stuff there that's way overpriced, but when it actually, usually for their buy it now price is way out of line. But when it's something that actually gets bid on, it ain't too bad. And most of the stuff on eBay is restored too. Yeah. So yeah, it's weird, but that's just the way it is, I guess. I'd like to see some videos on cleaning enameled cast iron, maybe being able to tell when one is a good or roached. Yeah, I mean, it can be kind of a judgment call on whether it's something you want to use or not. I mean, usually some roughness and pitting and a few chips here and there on the inside isn't going to hurt anything. Where you start getting, I mean, really degraded, if it's got a lot of cracking to it, it'll get a fine, crazed crack to it. That's usually a bit more iffy if you want to use them. But cleaning them, yeah, I mean, they really stain up some of them sometimes, especially the lighter colors. They get stuff burnt on. Um, Something that works pretty good for cleaning them is baking soda. Fill it most of the way with water and add a quarter of a cup, a third of a cup of baking soda and let it simmer for about 10-15 minutes and then clean it out. And that really seems to lift a lot of the stains out of them. My aluminum kettles are shining. Yeah, worked out pretty nice with the sunshine on them. Yeah, thank God for dirty, greasy cast iron to stop the rust. Yeah, it can hide cracks too, but usually they're a little bit better as far as being rusty. It will trap some moisture underneath the buildup, and you'll get rust underneath the crud. But usually it's not as bad as something that's been bare iron for 30 years sitting out in the shed getting rained on. The only aluminum we have is a Wagner number 212 coffee pot. They made some really pretty stuff. I mean, in some of the later or some of the 1950s Magnolite, the kettles. I really like the design of some of those. But a lot of the stuff they were making in the early 1900s is pretty neat too. On Goodwill, number 6, large block logo sold for 122 plus shipping. Couldn't believe it. Yeah, there's been a couple of things, a couple of mostly Griswold that have gone just inexplicably high the last couple of weeks. I don't know why. I mean, there's no real sense to it. I could see 122 for a number 6, or at least see it selling for that if it had a heat ring. They're less common, and most people pay a fair bit more for them. But yeah, that's about almost twice what it should be. I mean, that should be like a $60-$70 pan at the most generally. So, but sometimes you get bidding wars too. Two people that just got to have it and bound and determined to outbid the other guy. Picked up the number 8 Magnolite from Goodwill. Looks good outside. Inside is pitted all over. Yeah, you do get, that's one of the drawbacks of aluminum. You see a lot of it that's kind of pitted up. It's tends to be really bad with like pressure canners. Yeah, I've seen quite a few of them where they get stored, down in a basement or something, and they get put up wet, or they're in a humid environment. And once they start, it really kind of wants to eat into it. Do I ever sell anything cast iron? If so, where? Yeah, right now I rented a booth up at a antique shop not too far from me. Well, it's not really a booth; it's just a piece of wall where I can hang cast iron. And I'm selling off a bunch of I got a bunch of extra newer Lodge and some imported ones, selling them cheap basically just to get rid of them and make room. But most of my more vintage stuff I either keep it or give it away actually. Should be able to polish the pits out of that Magnolite. Yeah, if they're not too bad, I mean, you can sand it down. Yeah, I wouldn't go too crazy trying to get them out. But some of the smaller, the finer pitting, you can clean up most of it. Tried the boiled baking soda method last week, and it's a huge mess. Yeah, it does tend to you end up with a big white ring around the outside of your pan, but it does work fairly good. And it wipes up easy. I mean, it's not like it's something that's really sticky, nasty. It's just a matter of taking a wet rag to it. But yeah, it definitely makes a mark. Oh, you're going to be nice now, eh, Cat? Right now, you're making ham, cream cheese, and pickle wraps. Oh, yeah, those are good. I like those. Either pickles or green onions. One of the few things I'll have onions in. What the heck is boiled baking soda supposed to do? It'll take a lot of the stain out of uh, enameled cast iron. Never see any Magnolite on the west coast of Canada. Oh, okay. I don't really see a whole lot of it around here usually, but there was always a few here and there. And like I said, this time last year they were practically giving the stuff away. It's just really the last 6 months or so that it's really taken off. Bought a Griswold breakfast a couple of weeks ago, and it's identical to your Smarts breakfast skillet made in Brockville, Ontario. Same measurements and identical handle. Wonder if Griswold made it too. No, Smarts was their own company. They made their own stuff, but they copied a lot of Griswold things. And I saw on a Facebook group, it's a Canadian Hollowware Research, something like that. But it's a Canadian cast iron site, and they had a Smarts waffle iron and it was another Canadian maker, and one was a exact copy of an early Wagner, and the other was an exact copy of a early Griswold. But yeah, I have seen those Smarts breakfast skillets, and yeah, it's a copy of the Griswolds. I saw a glass Wagner cornstick pan at an antique store. Is it for real? Uh, I don't know. Maybe. I have seen uh, glass cornstick pans, but they were like Miracle Maze, something like that was the name of them. They're quite a bit different design than the Wagners, but it could be because Wagner had a lot of glass lids with a Wagner name on them, made for their skillets and Dutch ovens starting in the 50s. So they might have had some cornbread pans made too with their name on it, or cornstick pans rather. I'm not really sure. Can't say for sure. You said the Magnolite trend. No, I think the only Magnolite I have is I have a square skillet with a lid, and I paid like $5-6 for it a couple of years ago. I haven't done anything with it yet. It's got a chunk out of the handle. They had those Bakelite handles, and I was just thinking maybe I could find another one, transplant the handle, and the prices take off on them. So, but given the current market, I mean that damn thing's probably worth 70-80 bucks by now. So companies just outright stole each other's patterns. Yeah, they did. Uh, Wapak is famous for it, especially the earlier Wapak skillets. They used a lot of Erie and Wagner skillets as their patterns. And once you get into the bakeware, pretty much everybody stole from everybody else. Wagner, BSR, Lodge, Griswold, they all copied each other's stuff. So yeah, they really they stole a lot of stuff from each other. Honey Badger has a glass Wagner corn stick. Reads Wagner on one hand, and the other hand reads Ware. Not sure where they made him either. I'm sure they contracted with somebody. Like I said, probably the same company that made the lids for them would be my guess. Not sure when they made them. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I've never actually seen one in person, so I'm just kind of speculating. But I would guess, yeah, could very well be real and probably made by the same company they had make the lids. Seems like it, and seems they're all equally guilty. Yeah, they really did. Like I say, especially with a lot of the bakeware pans. The different different Turk's heads and different gem pans. A lot of that stuff they really shamelessly copied. And the cornbread skillet is another one. BSR came out with the cornbread, the wedge shaped cornbread skillets, and almost immediately Lodge copied it, but they made just enough of a change. They put a hole in the middle so that they get around uh, BSR's patent, and Wagner started making some a couple years after that too. So yeah, one would do something, and the other ones would pretty much instantly copy them. Yeah, Cynthia passed on a glass Wagner cornstick pan. Old Bat came right behind me and snatched it up and started bragging in your face. Well, if you wanted it, you should have grabbed it and put your foot on it and growled. Do I plan on doing any shows in the future where other people show their stuff and you help figure out what it is? I know I used to, but haven't been. But I have not been consistent due to the job. Yeah, I should do. Have guests on here. That was kind of fun to do that. It worked out all right. But yeah, I'd probably do that again. Can't say when exactly, but sorry, it reads Wagner Ware on both handles. Getting out to put cornbread batter in it. But yeah, I'll do an open stream one of these days again. They were kind of fun. We'll try and set it up, get everybody lined up a couple of weeks in advance. Let everybody know what's going on instead of just spring it on you as a surprise. Did all BSR corn wedge pans have patent pending on the bottom? No, the first few years they did, but later on, after about 4 or 5 years, I think, after they came out with them, they started putting a patent number on them. So if it says patent pending on it, it's one of the earlier ones. I think they came out in the early 1960s, if I remember, maybe 1965. And yeah, the first few years they said patent pending, and then after that they put a patent number on it. Used to wonder why your Lodge 3 notch fit so well. It fit a GS. Yes, I can read. I used to wonder why my Lodge 3 notch fit a GSW lid so well. Now I guess I know it was corporate espionage. Yeah, a lot of the Lodge lids, the number 8 Lodge lid fits a lot of other number 8 skillets and fits a number 8 Griswold Dutch oven real nice. And it's one of the more universal lids. Some of the Wagner lids fit a lot of other things too, and some of them they just don't. I mean, it's kind of hard to guess sometimes. You just gotta try the lid and see if it fits. Be ready, Cynthia. No excuses. Ready for what? You gotta be ready for anything, Cynthia. You never know what's gonna happen next. Do a little dead air for a minute here. To go live with Mud. Yes, Cynthia, you should be ready to go live with me. I might jump out of the bushes one day with a camera and microphone. Say we're going live now. You're being all friendly now, ain't you, Cat? About 3 minutes here. She's starting to purr. That's usually a signal she's about to attack in a couple minutes. She'll start chewing on me here shortly. Yeah, Cynthia, she won't do a show unless you can win something. I have a Wagner chicken fryer with a perfect fitting Lodge lid. Yeah, I have a Griswold Dutch oven with a perfect fitting Lodge lid. Where are you off to? All right. That's the cat. A minute ago, she was all calm and collected here, and pretty soon she'll start tearing around. I'm just waiting for the attack. Anyhow. See here. Billiam Portley. Nice to see you. Glad you could make it to the show. A little bit of a slow show tonight, but sometimes there are. Does my cat have a favorite piece of cast iron? Oh, she likes to hide in my pile of iron over there every now and then and attack as I go on my way to the bathroom. It's a good ambush spot for her. But I don't know if she has any exact favorites. She does like watching hoof trimming videos on YouTube, though. If I sit down and watch one, she'll be sitting right here just staring at the screen. Not sure what she sees in them, but she likes them. Like to see what other people have collected. Got lots of Canadian cast iron that I think is interesting. Never seen any Pequot or Wapak. Yeah, some areas you just don't find some things. I mean, I'm in northern Wisconsin. You'd think you'd see more Canadian cast iron around here, but you never do. And for some reason, most auction sellers I see selling Canadian cast iron are in the south or in the northwest, and it's weird. In some areas you can't find BSR. Some places, there's almost no Lodge to be had, or vintage Lodge anyway. And it's kind of funny. I mean, it doesn't seem, some areas like in the south, you typically see more BSR, but there's areas that you just never see it. It's kind of weird sometimes the way it works out. Quit scratching my chair, cat. The hoof trimming videos are addictive. Yeah, they are. I mean, they're pretty cool. I've been watching them for quite a while. Just give her some cat weed and she'll lay around. I think she's a little young yet for catnip. I guess kittens, for some reason, catnip doesn't do anything for them. It's once they get to be a couple years old, then it starts having an effect on them. Can someone do a walkthrough on how to sell cast iron on eBay or Marketplace, or how to ship it through the mail? I don't know about really selling much on auction sites, but I think I did a video here where I packed up some cast iron and got it ready to ship out. How rare are the Griswold meatloaf pans? What might they be worth? Uh, you mean the Griswold loaf pans? They got a skillet handle on one side. Those are pretty scarce. They usually go for quite a bit of money. If they have a lid, they go for even more. I've seen them with a lid selling anywhere from $1,700 to $2,000, and just the pan alone without a lid, usually around $1,000 for those. They're pretty scarce, and there's a lot of demand for them. So if you come across one in decent shape for less than $1,000, you're probably way ahead, especially if it's got the lid for it. Kittens are crazy enough already. No catnip needed. Yeah, she's a violent sociopath, but pretty much all cats are anyway. So, but yeah, packing cast iron. The biggest thing is you want to make sure if you have more than one item in the box that you put something between them so they're not banging into each other, and make sure the box is full. I mean, stuff in paper, bubble wrap, whatever, just to make sure it doesn't rattle around in the box. When I get done, before I tape it up, I'll hold the box closed and give it a good shake and see if anything can move around. Because if it can bang around in the box, it probably will break because it's going to get dropped at some point. It's just about guaranteed, no matter who you ship it with, whether it's whether the post office, UPS, FedEx, somebody's going to end up smashing the box around. And if there's room enough inside the box for the pan to move, when the box hits the floor, it'll stop, but the pan will keep right on going, and that'll hit the floor too. What'd you end up finishing your stovetop with? I haven't really got around to redoing it. I want to run it through my electrolysis tank, but I didn't get around to it this year. Hopefully this summer I'll do it. And somebody sent me a recipe for a homemade stove black. It's linseed oil, beeswax, and a little bit of soot, but I can't find it. I know it was just, I'll have to figure it out, but not sure what the exact proportion was. Love the pool noodles, easy to cut and shape. Yeah, the pool noodles or pipe insulation work really good because it's split. The pipe insulation is anyway. It's split and you can wrap it around the edges, and it really protects them good. Worked at UPS as a student, unloaded trucks by pulling packages from the bottom till the stack collapsed. Yeah, then directed the fall towards the conveyor. That sounds about right. I did my wood burner top with Crisco and it worked out great. Man, that might work too. A lot of it kind of burnt off. I used I got some stove black, but most of the stove black you get nowadays is water based. The old stuff was petroleum based, and it smoked like hell and stunk, but it worked better. And the water based stuff doesn't seem to really penetrate as well. It's got graphite in it, and before long, pretty much all the graphite just wiped off. But like I said, I'll run those through the electrolysis tank, and maybe throw them in some vinegar a little bit and kind of etch them a little bit so it's got more to grab to for a seasoning. And we'll see how it goes. The Griswold breakfast skillet and the Smart's round griddle you get one from a local auction site, was packed really poorly. Yeah, that's one of the problems with Goodwill. Most of the time it's packed pretty good, but sometimes they think cast iron's indestructible. To just crumple up a couple of pieces of paper, throw it in a great big box. Trying to get a box that's got a couple 3 inches all the way around, but you don't want to be any bigger than you really need to be either, because they shipping rate goes more by volume really than it does by the actual weight. But if you got too big of a box, there's more chance for it to rattle around in there and get busted in shipping. Yammy, good to see ya. Just want to chill with some peeps before the other streams. Yeah, I'll probably take a nap after this. I didn't get sleep during the day. But then I'll be back up and awake all night. It's got to be around like a donut, don't you? What are you staring at? She likes to sit on the back of the chair, and usually there's a ladybug or two wandering around up by the light, and she'll sit there and stare at it for about half an hour, wondering what the hell's wrong with her. Use pipe insulation, depends, wrapped in plastic wrap, filled with styrofoam peanuts and newspaper. Yeah, I use pipe insulation for the most part because it's cheaper, for one thing, than pool noodles usually are. For like 1/2 and 3/4 inch pipe insulation, which is about the same size as most pool noodles is like 75 cents for a piece, and they wanted like $3 or $4 for pretty much the same size of a pool noodle. Styrofoam peanuts are the worst packing material. Yeah, they can be kind of a pain, but they do work good. Noticed your local Amish auction cast iron's gotten crazy. Think the warm spell has people wanting to cook outside. Yeah, that could be. We're going to be cold here for the next. I mean, it's been ridiculously warm all winter. I've only gone through barely half of my wood pile. Normally, this time of year, I'm getting down to the last row on the wagon and hoping it doesn't stay too cold for too long. But it's going to be cooled off here for the next week and a half anyway. A little bit colder than normal. But for this time of year, that's, in the 30s usually, which isn't anything too bad. Life's been busy. Fantastic since you got your new job and you're close to reaching 6 months with your company just this next month. Cool. Yeah, hopefully you like your job. What kind of noise was that? Oh, fiddling around with a rocking two of the pans together. Couldn't figure out what kind of noise the cat was making. You live where the Amish have all the cast iron. That's all. Yeah, give them my regards. Tell them I told you to give you a day off with an extra day off with pay. I'm sure they'll do it for me. Trying to get as much seasoned as possible. You got surgery in a couple of weeks. Well, hopefully that goes well for you. And yeah, I remember you asked on the Facebook site if you could, when you're seasoning pans in the oven, if you can stack them on each other. Yeah, you can. Yeah, I usually don't stack them, one on another like that. But I'll usually do something like that and overlap them so they got, so the heat can circulate around them. And that works out pretty good. You don't have to just do a single layer with them. What? Sneak attack. But yeah, hopefully that goes good for you. they don't go removing anything you need too badly right at the moment. Will you settle down? But anyway, on a Tuesday, no less. Well, okay. Please forgive Crazy Pulse for me. Well, yeah, you can show up here after your surgery next week and still be all messed up from the drugs. Might make for an interesting show. Got all my vegetables sprouting and be planting soon. It's a little bit early for that around here. You'll probably start seedlings here around the 1st of April because you don't usually get to plant outside until the end of May. I don't care if the morphine's doing the talking as long as we can hear from you. Just taking a screw out of your back. Well, why'd you take it out if you had a reason to put it in the first place? But yeah, like I say, it's a bit early for starting gardening. Sure, a lot of people are just dying to. Like I said, it's been nice all winter here, so that and the seed catalogs always come out in the middle of January. You got about 8 feet of snow, 40 below, and you're getting seed catalogs. Hey, look at this cool thing you can plant in 4 or 5 months. Seed companies are evil that way. Yeah, I can't wait to plant in the garden. I didn't do any gardening last year. Where I had my garden spot, I planted a bunch of apple trees. So I got to kind of start over again on the gardening spot, find a little better spot for it than last time, but it was a decent spot. But yeah, I'm gonna have to pretty much start over from scratch, break some new ground, get that all worked up, get the sod taken care of. It's always a pain the first couple of years when you break new ground because the all the old grass roots keep wanting to resprout, and you're just fighting weeds and fighting grass and fighting weeds for a long time until you get it all beaten into submission. I think it's 6 weeks you plant them. Yeah, like I said, it's still a bit early for us. Usually, it's about the last week in May before you can really plant most things. Mom taught us there is no minor surgery anytime you're going under. Yeah, there's always a chance that something can go dreadfully wrong, but fortunately, it's usually pretty much routine. Kittens are so much fun. Your cat's over 19, sleeps most of the time. Yeah, they're a riot. Anyone else have pawpaw trees? Not up around here. I think the range of them they get just barely into the southern part of Wisconsin, but yeah, we're too far north for pawpaws around here. Yeah, Ronald Coward's got lots of them. But yeah, southern Wisconsin's kind of the cutoff for a lot of different plants, pawpaws, hickory trees. We get there's shagbark hickory grows kind of in the southwest and southern quarter of Wisconsin, but you get farther north than that, you get away from hickories and a few other species I can't think of offhand that are common everywhere else, but we just don't have them up here. Seasons is just a little bit too short for them. But on the plus side, we're just a little bit too far south for moose because moose are kind of a pain when you're driving. We got enough deer to run into. We don't need any moose around here coming through your windshield. Yeah, you won't get bored if you watch a cat or kitten playing. Time flies, yeah. Oh yeah, she's entertaining herself, nothing else. What's a pawpaw tree? They're kind of a bush, and they get, if I remember right, they kind of taste like bananas. They get a fruit on them. I know what they are, but I'm not really familiar with them. You'll have to ask somebody else exactly what they're about. Do I have any of the Lodge Wildlife series? No, I haven't. Haven't come across them. At least none for sale around here. You see them on auctions all the time, but I haven't got around to picking any of them up yet. As a little kitten, finally settled as the new master of the house. Yeah, she's settled in pretty good. You just saw her a minute ago tear assing around. North American mango, basically. Okay. Yeah, I thought they tasted more like bananas, but yeah, I've never had them. Our plant day here is usually on Good Friday. Yeah, we're more like Memorial Day around here. Tastes like banana, pineapple, custard, spoil quickly. Yeah, I think that's what I had heard about them. Ugh, itchy nose. Craft brewery uses pawpaws that grow on their property for beer. I bet you that could be kind of good. Anyhow, we've been at this for 57 minutes already. All you have here are wild plums and elderberries. Wild plums are good. The skins are kind of bitter. Usually just kind of pop them in your mouth and squeeze the pulp out of them and spit the skins out. The skins got a lot of tannin in them, so they get kind of bitterish. And I love elderberries. I gotta see if I can get some planted around here. See them growing in the ditches, quite a few different places. But yeah, elderberries are really good. I like them. I got a nice little patch of blackberries. Well, actually, they're black caps, but those just grow wild and they run amok around here. Pretty much anytime you clear a spot in the woods, after about a year and a half, 2 years, it'll be just choked off with blackberry brush. Makes deer hunting kind of fun. You want some elderberries too. Yeah, I got some wild plums growing here, right out front, and the blackberries pretty close by. Aren't elderberries really tart? No, they're not. They're not tart. They're not real super sweet either, but they're not tart when they're ripe. You ever heard pie in your face? Imagine the door, here it comes. It says get out. Elderberry preserves sound pretty good right about now. Yeah. I haven't made elderberry jelly in a long time. That blackberry jelly, though, that's really, really good stuff. Love some muscadine jelly. Yeah, we don't have those around here either. Elderberry jelly's number one favorite. Bought a whole case. Yeah. But anyhow, like I said, it's just about time to wrap this up. Hopefully you enjoyed the show, and hopefully anybody watching this later on enjoys the show too. A little bit of a slow night, but those are kind of fun too. Just kind of hang out and chit chat. Like I said, next week we'll take a look at some aluminum stuff, see what's going on with the prices on that. Elderberry wine is strong. Yeah, it's really good. One of the best uses for elderberry, in fact. Step back 2 paces. Anyhow, yeah, so we'll wrap her up here and see you guys next week. We'll go over some aluminum then, and hopefully you'll enjoy the show, and we'll see you guys later.